One of the things that is noticeable about anxiety and panic is how differently people react to the trigger stimulus. What affects one person and builds up to a lifelong problem, another might just go through without any difficulty at all. I always remember many years ago I was on a flight from the UK to Greece, to Rhodes. It was a routine evening flight, and on that flight we flew into a thunderstorm, and we got struck by lightning twice. There was a massive bang. Initially the cabin went quiet, and then people started shouting and some people were screaming. And I always remember a young stewardess stood at the front of the plane telling us through a microphone that was shaking in her hands, "Please do not worry, there is nothing to be frightened about. Do not worry, everything is safe." Now, one of the worst things you can do for people that are worried is ask them not to do something. And I can prove this to you right now. I'm going to give you an instruction and I want you to act on this immediately. Here it is. I don't want you to think about a pink elephant. Okay? You got it? What's in your head? A pink elephant. And the reason is you can't not think about something without thinking about it first. So when somebody says, "Don't worry, there's nothing to be frightened about," you immediately go, "Okay, what should I be worrying about? And what should I be frightened about? So I won't do that." And of course, everybody got worried. For myself, I was fascinated. I was sat at the window seat over the wing, and I was watching these blue lights as they shot up and down the wing. Absolutely fascinated. It's just like on the movies. Amazing. So anyway, we had to make a forced landing. We landed in Greece and we all got off the aircraft and sat and waited and watched as the engineers checked the aeroplane. This appeared to be wandering around, hitting various bits with a hammer to make sure nothing fell off. After an hour or so, we were invited to get back on, and everybody did, and we continued with our journey. And that everybody did is unusual. I had a client once who had had a similar experience. She'd been on a flight and the engine caught fire and they had to make an emergency landing, and she wouldn't get back on. She travelled home overland. She came to see me a number of years ago. We did some work and she's okay with flying now. But people respond differently. And in a way, this does not really matter. It's how you are responding that's important. One of the things I noticed when we were in that lounge and I was looking around was the different states people were in. Some people were just sat tired, others were pacing up and down, and others were clearly in a mild state of shock and they were starting to hyperventilate and trying to hang on to things. Some were hunched over and people were holding them. But they were all experiencing breathing too rapidly. And of course, this causes lightheadedness. Now, the reason for this is what our bodies do to the air that we breathe in. Air is made up of 71% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, and the rest is carbon dioxide and other gases. When we breathe in and convert the oxygen to carbon dioxide, and in doing so release the energy. We breathe out about 4% more carbon dioxide than we breathe in. Our bodies have a mechanism that balances this up, and it adjusts our rate of breathing so that we always keep this in balance. So what happens when we breathe too quickly and too shallowly? Well, less of the oxygen in our lungs gets converted to carbon dioxide, and so the oxygen level steadily builds up. And it's this that causes the lightheadedness and the dizziness and the feeling that we're going to faint. Our bodies actually measure the amount of carbon dioxide in our bodies. To some this might seem a little bit strange, because if we are unwell, we're given oxygen. But in those times we're breathing slowly and using the oxygen we are given. So there is an old trick for helping to overcome this problem, and I'm going to show this to you now. Now, I don't have a paper bag, I have a plastic bag. And the way this works is as follows. You're hyperventilating and you breathe into the bag like this. Hyperventilating. And the reason you do this is quite simple. As you breathe out into the bag, you're breathing the carbon dioxide and oxygen back in, but there's more carbon dioxide. The next breath, there is more carbon dioxide still, and the next breath, more carbon dioxide, and gradually you enrich the carbon dioxide in your body and bring the balance back to normal. So that's that technique. Now, if any of you use this, I want you to stop immediately. If anyone ever suggests this to you, do not do it. It is dangerous. It is very, very dangerous. So what are we going to do with this? That's what we're going to do with it. The reason it is dangerous is you can run the oxygen levels so low that you suffer from oxygen starvation. And you do not want oxygen starvation. That really is bad news. So please, if you've ever used that technique or anybody ever suggests it to you, the answer is a definite no. Okay? So instead, I'm going to show you two techniques. These are two breathing techniques that have the same effect but are a lot safer. The first of these is called 7-11 breathing, and the second is called bamboo breathing. We'll go through both of them individually and then afterwards have a quick review about how you use them.